99.5 The X.
Hey everybody, it's Mick backstage at Rebellion. I am hanging with Shaun from Seether, and man, you guys are kicking some serious ass. You always
Thanks,
do,
man.
though.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we like to do, I guess.
Just kind of.
We drink and play loud music, I guess. You know, it's a fun time.
Now, the new album coming out July 1st, right?
Yeah.
Isolate and Medicate.
Yep.
Your album titles are awesome. How do you come up with these? And there's always a deeper meaning behind it. You don't necessarily hit full frontal, but I'm curious to hear more.
Well, it's like you try and sum up the basic writing process of each album and where you're at in that point in your life, and you try and make it sort of vague and poetic without being too direct. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This one, I don't think it's the most direct of all of them, and it's just pretty much just about dealing with your own things, your own demons, and having to deal with it by yourself. You know what I mean? So it's basically it's pretty much sums up what I was doing for the whole time of writing the songs. It was basically just like, okay, I'm gonna close this door behind me, go into this room, and just take a couple bottles of wine with me or whatever the hell else goes in there, and that was it, man. And it was ultimately these are the products of that sort of sequestration of myself in this room where I could just allow myself to write and not have to deal with the outside world for a while.
Now, thinking of this album title and juxtaposing that against the success of Fake It, it seems like there's so much of calling people out. I don't know how much of it is, but it seems like Fake It was such a song of calling people out. But then again, you look at, I don't know what to expect on this new album other than the new single, Words as Weapons.
Yeah.
It seems a little more introspective rather than overt. Am I wrong?
Well, I think that's also from song to song. It varies. Yeah, there's definitely a couple songs on this album as well that also call people out on just the scene. I think the scene needs to be called out. The rock genre as a whole needs to get a fire lit under its backside, because it's time that it means something again, and it's time that people actually write music that has heart and soul and integrity, and not get away from this stuff that it's just like who can play the fastest, who can scream the loudest, and that's cool and all. I mean, I'm a big fan of bands like that too, but at least bands should stop sounding like each other.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, this song in particular might be a little bit more introspective, and there certainly are a couple songs on the album, but I think it bounces between the two.
With as brutally honest as you're willing to be in regard to expressing yourself, and what do you find is your well, how do I phrase this? I know how I want to say it in my head, but with that vulnerability is what I'm trying to get at. With that vulnerability, is there an aspect of the writing process or whatnot where that intimidates you, or do you find that to be a cathartic release?
Yeah, I don't get intimidated by it really until it's time to do it for real in the studio. You know what I mean? And then Brendan O'Brien, our producer, is like, so let me see those lyrics. And I go, do you really have to? I prefer to just do it on a sort of subconscious level and just sort of scribble them out before it's time to do it. And obviously, there's always a thought in my head when I first write the ideas. There's some sort of idea of which way the lyrics will end up going. But when it comes to the final process, it's really just a question of, hey man, vocals in 10 minutes? Okay, I got this. Let me just scribble these down quickly. And I know that sort of, I mean, it's not quite as bad as that, but I do tend to, because I find that if I think about it too much, I overthink it, and I don't want to overthink it and second guess myself and then go, okay, am I allowed to say this? Am I getting this point across correctly? Whereas if I just allow it to organically be itself and be what it is, then it tends to, I surprise myself sometimes. I go, whoa, that was kind of deep. Yeah. Everyone's gonna think I'm super deep now.
Well, there's times where I'll listen to some of your songs, and I'll hear them a fourth, fifth time, and then it'll hit in a different way. Yeah. And it's amazing. And it's one of those things where, I don't know. I mean, I've worked through my own crap, and I encourage everybody, if you have something going on, to face it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's one of these things where I found myself in positions, and you may be in a similar position, where maybe I've written stuff down, or I've blasted and just released in anger or whatnot, but then I realized that was all about me, but I thought it was about somebody else.
Yeah, absolutely. It often turns out to be more, turn the mirror on yourself kind of thing. And it's pretty interesting because you do feel at the time that you're like, man, I want to direct all this anger at the other entity or entities that are making you feel bad. But you find out after a while that it's like, well, what's the common denominator here? Is it's always me. So you're right. You need to face it. You need to focus on it. And honestly, I mean, I don't want to, because I'm not very good at it, so I can't sit here and be like, yes, and what you must do is you must now focusing on yourself. I'm like, no, I'm not that guy. I'm no guru or anything. I could definitely do with seeing one.
Me too.
But you're right. It is. I mean, I'm trying to figure out ways as well to be able to center, even try stuff like meditation and I mean, just whatever you can do, even just to stop the madness and the chaos for 30 minutes a day. That's difficult, man. And it's like, and if you think about it, you're just constantly inundated with like stimulus, and it's like, you're gonna lose your mind.
What do you do aside from music? What's a good release? What's something fun you do to
well, I mean,
get away from it?
I have a bunch of different things. I mean, I used to live out in New Hampshire, so I used to just used to go out on a boat. And then for me being on the water is really, really peaceful. So I had friends that had a boat, and I just borrow their boat and go out. And I'm gonna tell you, man, something about for me. And I grew up near the ocean in South Africa, so for me, just being near water in general is awesome. So being on water is like that was like, I mean, and I know it's, but it was really seriously zen. You know what I mean? It's like, I could be out there and have the worst day of my life, get on a boat and go out in the water, and immediately I'm like, and it was this amazing therapy. So I don't have that anymore. I moved to Nashville subsequently, so I don't have that anymore. But
that's an interesting scene.
Yeah, it's not what I thought it was going to be, to be honest. I thought I would move there, and my initial experience with Nashville was that it was really cool people, and that it was a really friendly, sort of everyone sort of camaraderie kind of vibe. But in retrospect, you find out that's in certain areas. It's not you can't. I mean, I can't be naive enough now again to be like, oh, that city's great because I've met 3 cool people. So I think that I've sort of had a wake-up call as far as that goes, and I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do next, but it's for the time being, I've got a year and a half through the touring left to go, so I don't have to worry about it right now. But
well, the evolution's exciting, man. It's been awesome to see it because it's gone from an outsider looking in, just through the music, it's gone from pain to facing it to what I'm assuming with this album's going to be some
running away from it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's not due out till July. All I have to go on is the first single, but
I think it's thank you. And I mean, I think it's this is just a continuation of facing it. It's like I'm still dealing with issues like my brother dying. I'm still dealing with issues like that happened years and years and years ago, and I think these are things that there's no quick fix for any of these kinds of things. These deep-seated, like childhood traumas that don't just sort of heal themselves. And with each album, it's a question of just chipping away at these massive granite blocks, and I think they're getting down. I mean, it's the only thing I can do to keep myself sane, I guess. So, but I mean, this one, this is definitely dealing with. Especially because I had nobody else to, it was very, 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 just me dealing with it. It was very, very, very isolated in that sense. And so I had no choice but to just take everything head on,
Well, I appreciate you letting us be a part of that
Thanks,
process.
man.
And thank you so much for what you do. Can't
Thanks,
wait
man. I
to
appreciate
see
it.
what's next. Thank you, man.